Welcome to the Budgeting Sisters. I am the oldest sister, and I'm excited that you're here to watch me take control of my finances without feeling overwhelmed. Grab a chair or maybe a cup of tea, and let's dive into this week's budgeting breakdown. Bit of an FYI, I know it's a coffee cup, but it's definitely tea. So let's have a look at week 1 of this 4-week period. So this week went from the 20th of June to the 26th of June. We rolled over from the previous month £1,267. Job number 2 paid £571. Universal credit was £398. We got £642 from my other half's job. And then we had £170 from other. Now, the £170 came from the other budgeting sister, my little sister. Basically, what happened was back in September, I bought her, on her behalf, some bikes for her 3 of her 4 children. And we're understanding that she would pay me back as and when. And obviously, with her finances being what it was, and although that she hasn't done an update recently, she's doing a lot better financially for herself. She's managing to budget. She's thriving like a little flower due to, like, obviously stress with, because she's training for a job and she hasn't had time to do filming, so that's why there's not been any updates from her. She was able to pay me back the money, which has actually been quite helpful. So for the total income, which included the rollover from last 4 weeks, came to 3,048. We had the phones come out and the rent, which were our 2 fixed bills. And then for our variables, we budgeted for £60 for fuel, which we used £49.03. Groceries, we budgeted for 120, and actually we went for this particular week. We had an epic disaster, and actually spent £153.11, giving us an overspend of £33.11. Household was we budgeted for £30, and we spent £30.41. Our normal budget is £20, but I've added in an extra 12 from the sinking fund to pay for some suntan lotion, which came out of that challenge that we did the other month. But we actually only spent 40, so that would have been £32. And so actually we spent £14.38, which we're going to roll £15 of that into the week 2. Pet food, we budgeted for £20, and we've just got so much pet food that I don't think we'll be using that anytime soon. Childcare was £245, but we haven't spent it because I've put it in the wrong week. It should be week 2 that should be in. General miscellaneous, we had £10 and we spent £2.84, which was actually on an ice cube tray, one of those finger ice cube trays, which seems a bit silly, but I needed some ice because the weather's been hotting up, and my son needed some ice cubes for his water bottle for school, so I spent £2.84, which gives us £7.17, which we're going to roll some of that into next week, the £5 into next week, and the rest is going to go into to pay off the deficit from the overspent on groceries. So car costs, we haven't used anything, and travel, we haven't used anything. The clothing sinking fund, we haven't used anything, and we haven't used anything else. So what we've done is that £170 that came from the youngest budgeting sister, we're going to put £150 of that into the cash binders, which we've decided, after talking about it, I'm going to put it in the Christmas ones. And then £20, we've then rolled it into overspent on the grocery, which actually means that we were then underspent by £4.74. So we're going to put £4 in the savings challenge and 74 pence into the penny challenge, which I will show you me doing in a minute. We'll run through that together. Total income was £3,048. Fixed expenditure was £1,366.50, which was 50 pence lower than budgeted. The total variable was £249.77, which was over what it was budgeted for, and then £154.74 will go into the savings envelopes. We had nothing on debt repayment, and there's £1,277 to roll over for the following week. Right, so we've got £4.74. Okay, so leave that over there for now. And then we've got 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 91, 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50. Okay, and then we've got a new binder, which was bought for me as a birthday present from the youngest budgeting sister. So we're going to, right, first of all, right, so as we've had a major disaster this week with our spending, not only did we overspend on our groceries, but we also spent on days that we shouldn't have spent. So we actually have £5 to add into the no spend June, but we've only got 4, so we're going to put the 4 in, and then we're going to put an IOU for £1. Okay, so we won't be doing any of the challenges this week. I did think about, like, do I do the challenges? Do I put it in the Christmas binder? I was a bit sort of like and ahhing, because I was like, I want to start the Christmas off because we've only got a couple more days till July and we haven't started saving. I'm not sure what's going to happen because obviously my husband's not working. So I just thought, do you know what? I'll start this, and then if next week, or depending on what happens, we can start putting some more money in there. So as you can tell, we have the Grinch Christmas saving. Like I said, I know she bought it. I'm not sure where from because it was a gift and I'm not going to ask. And I've done a bit of a mishmash because there were trackers in there, which were some nice trackers. I will show them. But I actually like the Grinch ones. So we're going to start with decor. So I'm going to put, I haven't actually worked out what I'm putting where yet. So we're just going to put £20 in here. Right, gifts. Do 40. And these Grinch, so the original one that was in there was that one, which is quite pretty. But I do like the Grinch, like I said. The Grinch ones came from Etsy. So Christmas food. Again, the one I came with was Christmas dinners. Let's see. Let's go for a 20. Loathing. Treats. Market. Go for 20 for treats. I'd like to try an activity we'd like to try. Possibly not this year, but definitely next year before 3.75 gets too old. Is that I'd like to do the Polar Express train journey. So that will be incorporated in for this. And then I've got this budget with Ira tracker for Christmas. We've icons of £5 and we've got we've put £10 in here. This will be for things like on Christmas Eve, we like to have a bit of a hot chocolate, like with marshmallows and cream and all that sort of stuff, high in sugar, and watch Christmas films. So that's what this will be for. And that's it for this. So that's our Christmas binder. The only thing that I've put in my purse, which I haven't got here because it's downstairs now, is I've put the £30 from week 2 for fuel, and then we've rolled over the travel, the car costs, and the miscellaneous, which we have spent some of. And then that's already set up for this coming week. So, all right, that's it for today's video. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you found this helpful, go ahead and tap that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the new videos. If you've got any questions or budgeting wins and tips to share, drop them in the comment below. I love to see how you guys are making progress with your money. Gives me some ideas as well. New videos drop every Thursdays and Saturdays, so I will see you in the next one. And until then, keep crushing your goals. And remember, every penny has a job.